welcome to another episode of our podcast, First Impressions. I'm your host, Grace, and today we have practice owner and dentist, Dr. Ritesh Aggarwal. Hello, Ricky. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Grace?
Good, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Now, we're going to be talking about dentistry. I would like to know a bit about background, a bit about you, how you got into it, and clear aligners.
Oh, how I got into dentistry?
Yeah. Did you kind of know you wanted to get into it?
No, never wanted to be a dentist in my life.
So what made you?
I wanted to be in sport, really.
Okay.
But I probably wasn't good enough, really. So that's that. And literally I was doing sciences at A-level.
Yeah.
So, and my dad ideally wanted a doctor in the family, typical Asian family and all that business. Yeah. So, but I went on work experience and I thought it was really boring. So literally the day before I had to hand my university application form in, I just put dentistry down. I didn't really know what it entailed. Yeah. And then I went to dental school and I had a rude awakening.
Wow. Because it's quite long, isn't it? Dentistry. Isn't it like 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years. And then you do a year. Back in the day, it was called vocational training, now foundation.
Yeah, well, you must have kind of learned to enjoy it then, because that is hard work to say if you don't.
It is hard work. Yeah, and I must admit, as time's gone on, actually now, at this point in my career, I've probably enjoyed dentistry more than I ever have done.
Yeah.
I actually really do enjoy going into work and stuff, so it's nice. And I think the big part that I did learn, whether you're a doctor or whether I've always enjoyed helping people. And I really feel like dentistry can help people. So it's, from that perspective, it's
definitely
rewarding.
Like with oral health and confidence and stuff, I think it's really important. Really rewarding. You see people's journeys.
Massively, and a bit like what we're talking about today, clear aligners. You mentioned, changing smiles and just the confidence and the uplift that gives people. I mean, I know we're going to go on to you having having clear aligner treatments. I mean, how do you feel after having it done?
I mean, I'm really, really grateful that I got it done. I think before, I didn't really think I had an issue with my teeth, but you do kind of notice little things. And also, I used to have braces. I never wore my retainer. Classic. So knowing that I should not be saying this to a dentist. Knowing that I had that, them straight teeth before, and I've literally watched them get wonky again. Yeah. It was a bit sad, to be honest. Yeah, I never had an issue. I was never insecure about them, but just having that fix, really, it does make a difference. I'm really glad.
It does, and you're not the only one. That's a massive thing with patients. A lot of patients who come in for clear aligner treatment have relapsed from previous orthodontic treatments. So you're not alone.
Would you say when people are coming in for clear aligner treatment, it's mainly for the cosmetic, or is it more for the oral hygiene and the oral health beneficial?
In some cases, I'd say there's a little bit of I would say mainly it's cosmetic. And not just cosmetic, though. I think what we must understand is that, it gives you a self-confidence. Yeah. So there's a psychological element to all of this as well. People are like, oh, is it just vanity? Well, no, not at all. It's about feeling good in your own skin and what makes you feel good. So, and if it's something you're seeing every day that you don't like and your smile is such a focal point, then it's important for that person to have it corrected if they feel as it needs to be. Sometimes oral hygiene issues are a reason to do it as well, or improving the bite and things like that. But mainly, I would say it's cosmetic or aesthetic reasons.
Yeah, I think it's a really big thing now in the industry, the whole cosmetic and aesthetics. Well, people are wanting to fix the teeth. Everyone before was getting veneers, and now people are wanting that natural smile and they're wanting to fix their natural teeth. And it's a really good option. But
that's a nicer thing for me as a dentist because, people wanted a Hollywood smile and we're doing it in a very quick way, Exactly, without saying it, but it's so destructive. Whereas doing it in a more natural and a naturally pleasing way as well feels like it's definitely the way to go.
What are the kind of things that it can fix in terms of bite? I know it can change your bite and stuff like that. And
yeah, we can help with, bite and the way that your teeth come together. Yeah. Obviously, rotations, or sometimes you'll see people in the teeth are slightly set a bit further back. So it can bring them back into line and get them all realigned. Works great for your aesthetic zone, which is the front 6 teeth. And I like to stick to that area because I'm not an orthodontist. I think that complex cases should be seen by an orthodontist, and I'll say that to all of my patients. But I think clear aligner treatment in the hands of a GDP of my expertise is perfect for fixing simple smiles and aesthetic zone areas.
Yeah, definitely. That leads me on to Glee. Like, how have you found working with Glee clear aligners? Are your patients enjoying the treatment?
Yeah, love it.
Good.
So, I must admit, I've used one other clear aligner provider, and I've been so happy I've switched over to Glee from every perspective. In terms of, for me, one of the most important aspects for me is not necessarily price, although the price is really good. It's not necessarily price, it's customer service. Yeah. That's really important. And what I found, the support from the team at Glee has just been second to none.
Yeah, so that's good. That's the thing. It is a big thing, the whole support side, because like you say, you're not an orthodontist, but they have orthodontists, don't they?
I don't just mean support though from a clinical perspective.
Yeah.
I mean support from the wider team. I mean support from, the people who are, creating the stuff and helping us go, if something went wrong, let's say with the delivery of the case, we're not perfect. That's going to happen. It's the way that it's managed. And I find that it's just so easy and approachable to pick up the phone to Glee to go, can we get this sorted? And they'll come up with a solution. They're not putting barriers up going, oh, sorry, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. Right, okay, how can we best fix this? So, and it's happened very rarely, but it does happen. And when it does happen, it's nice to know that you've got the support there.
Like I'd say you're more of like a partner, not a number, because there are a lot
100%.
of line providers that just care about money, don't they? And them sales.
Well, I mean, thankfully, in my aligner journey, I didn't go massively down the major brands. I mean, we used one big brand and really happy with them. They were a good provider and they were, but I just really liked the whole system with the way that Glee runs. It's really good.
Yeah, that's really beneficial. Like your workflow has been a lot more, would you say, efficient?
Yeah, massively. Turnaround times are really good.
Yeah.
The fact that they're generally local to me as well means that I could even shoot over and pick something up if I needed to. That's a benefit for me living where I do or working where I do geographically. But the whole workflow would just the ease from scanning right the way through to receiving the aligners and the packaging as well. The way it's presented.
Yeah.
It's smart. It looks good. It's professional. It inspires confidence, so.
Yeah, I think that's quite important because obviously it's people's are spending a lot on their smile. It's kind of like, it is a fix, but it is a bit of a luxury, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it is. It is. Anything, again, it's back down to what we said before, aesthetically.
Yeah.
Why you're doing it? Is it just for vanity but is it just a luxury? I mean, again, if it is improving confidence, if it is making you feel better about yourself, that's going to then inspire you to then go on and achieve more things because you've had clear aligner treatment, because you feel more confident within yourself.
Yeah.
Then that's actually not a luxury. That's self-care.
Yeah. I think it's really important. And it's nice people being able to have that position and that opportunity. Like that with the whole packaging, like you want it to feel nice because a smile is so personal to someone, and like being able to enjoy your smile a lot better.
Definitely, yeah.
I think is really beneficial.
I think it's really good. I've got to be honest.
Definitely. Okay, so we're going to talk about the treatment process. Can you walk us through, say, a patient comes in, the first consultation to the end of their treatment?
Okay, so we'll have a chat with them. More than often than not, they've probably filled out some sort of online inquiry form, which gives us a little bit of an idea about what's happening before they've even come in. And that's free of charge to them, so that's quite nice. Then they've got a bit of an idea of what's happening. They'll come in and see me or one of my team, and we'll normally have a chat. And probably at that appointment, we'll probably take a scan as well. We could go ahead from that point, we'll get the scan. We then invite them back to go through everything, explain to them how many aligners they're exactly going to need, explain to them what the process is, and show them a simulation. That's really important because to be able to see what your smile is potentially going to look like really gives you confidence in accepting treatments. And so that's a great thing about technology now. It's so good compared to old school when I first qualified with just impressions and that kind of stuff. So that's good. So we'll go through that. We'll then do some other really important checks, like check the health of the teeth, Make sure that they understand the process, make sure they understand the risks as well as the benefits of the process. That's really important because there is some risks and limitations to when we're moving teeth. So we get full consent. Once they've consented, we'll get the aligners ordered. And once they arrive, which is normally pretty swift and certainly within a couple of weeks, they're then scheduled an appointment to start their aligner journey. First appointment's normally quite long because normally on a treatment plan, we probably have to add things that are known as attachments, little small fillings on your teeth. Might have to do a little bit of other work. But then we then fit them with the first aligner, and then they'll come and change them on a regular basis, and they'll have updates with us. So.
And then how many checkups would you say roughly?
How many aligner treatments? I mean, average is probably between anything from 12 on the top and bottom arch, for instance. It depends on the severity of the case. Yeah. I would say normally treatment time length is probably a better way to talk about it. 6 months to maybe 9 months would probably be the average caseload, I'd say. Done some that have finished within 4, which great, really simple case to finish with 4. Some have extended longer. But what we won't do is we won't stop until we're both happy with where we're at and we're at the point where the simulation said we were going to be.
Yeah. I think one thing, like when I think about my treatment, it was just so easy and smooth. Like mine was 6 months. And like, I never really thought it was bad, but it really made, when I saw the simulation, like you can see the crowding that I had on the bottom of my teeth was quite bad. And like, it did really make such a difference.
And did you have any fillings put onto your teeth or anything like that, you know, to help move your teeth, attachments that we talked about?
Yeah. For my aligners. Yeah.
Yeah. And how did you find that?
I thought they were fine. I thought you really matched them well. Yeah. Like they were honestly invisible. Like I know people say that, but I genuinely do think you matched it literally perfectly.
Right.
I thought they were fine. Obviously, you know, when you first get them on, well, you're not gonna, I'm saying this like you know, but like when you first get them on, you can feel them like against your lips, like when they take your aligners out. But you just get used to it. Yeah. I didn't think it was that much of an inconvenience.
It's great feedback that as a dentist because like I've not had it done. So as well as I can empathize as much as I possibly can, I've not actually sat in that position. So knowing from a patient's perspective how it feels, what the feelings and what we can then relate to other potential patients is really important. And what about, so a lot of the thing with aligner treatments is it's really not very painful. However, when you first put them in, they're quite tight. And so they can cause a little bit of discomfort over the first sort of 24 to 72 hours. And then that sort of dampens down while it then settles. And then you go, did you get much?
I got a little bit of like tightness, but I never really thought mine were painful because I've heard people who have like aligners, go through aligners and they've had to take like loads of paracetamol, said it was really painful. But I think because I used to have braces, I don't know, maybe because I used to have braces, so my teeth have moved before. Maybe it's something to do with that.
Or maybe you knew what to expect or you know, because you've had braces before maybe, so you've got a better or a higher pain tolerance to it, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Because I genuinely did not have, like it was uncomfortable for like a day and that was it.
To be fair, what you're describing there was typically what all of our patients describe, really. There's no, I can't think of any cases that we've done whereby a patient's gone, this is, you know, too uncomfortable, I want to stop kind of thing.
Yeah.
And even need to take, I might have had a couple of patients who've had to take a couple of painkillers, paracetamol or ibuprofen, just what you take for a headache. But yeah, on the whole, it's been pretty well received.
Yeah, I thought mine was really literally by the book, really easy. Really smooth. Very happy with it. So I think obviously it is a commitment, isn't it? Like, I think that's why people are so scared. Before actually jumping into it, you think it's so daunting. But when you get used to it, it's...
Is it daunting?
I think a lot of people, well, from my friends and stuff saying about clear aligners, it's a big commitment. But I genuinely, from experience, can say it's not. It's a big routine that you have to, like, kind of shift into. But the whole taking them in and out, I think people can be a bit scared about that.
I think from a clinical perspective, though, it's important that patients understand the commitment that's involved. Yeah. Like I will not take on a case if a patient ain't going to go, you know what, I'm committed to doing this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes we have patients that come in who have sort of not had, I don't like to call it failed treatment, but the treatment's not been as successful and they've used a different provider or whatever it might be, and then they come in to see me. And the first question I'm going to ask them is, have you been wearing your aligners? And they'll probably say, yeah, a lot of the times, but you know full well that that's not been happening. And I will not take on a case unless they've got 100% commitment in, because the treatment is only going to be as good as the person wearing the aligners. Yeah. You know, so.
What did you think about me? Did you think I used to wear my aligners?
Yeah, 100%. You were very committed.
Yeah.
You were very committed because you wanted the change.
Yeah.
So it was never an issue with you, because when we saw you, when we assessed it, I knew how much you really wanted to have them straightened again.
Yeah.
And I knew you were a bit gutted that they'd relapsed. So
I know. That's the thing, is because I just thought as well, if it's changed this much in 10 years, what's it going to be in 20 years? And I just thought they were just going to get worse.
No. But and the thing with your case as well, when I first thought, oh, it's not, it's not too bad. It's not relapse loads. But when I looked at it on the simulation, and when we added up onto the screen, you could really see actually it had relapsed, and you could see that there was quite a bit of a movement to be done. So to then see them now and how good they look, and it's
I think that's
nice.
The thing. Like, the simulation really can change your mind on a lot of things. Like you say, I never thought mine were bad.
Yeah.
But when you see this simulation and how they can be aligned, you think, oh, maybe they were a bit not bad, but you can achieve something a lot nicer.
I think it gives you a good perspective as well in terms of because on the simulation we can rotate your teeth around, not your teeth, but your teeth are set into an arch, so we can rotate that around so you can see it from all different angles.
Yeah.
And I love showing a patient from sort of looking from the top down. So you're looking on top of the teeth. You can really see if there's any teeth that are misaligned.
Yeah.
And a patient sort of like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, I can see what I need to have done here. So
yeah. What feedback would you say you hear the most from your patients using Glee?
Easy to use. Materials really comfortable, actually. Prompt service and stuff. So that was, everything's always there. It's been fine from that perspective. And we've had to do very little refinements. So one of the things that happens in clear aligners is that it's a simulated model. So it's a predicted model. Sometimes it doesn't always go to plan. But I must admit, on the cases I've done with Glee, my percentage of refinements have been very, very little. Probably less than 5%.
Oh, wow.
So
that's really good.
From my perspective as a clinician, that's really good. Because we don't charge for refinements.
Yeah.
So if you're going to manage people's expectations and you're going to say to them, you know what, we're going to be able to do this within 6 months, and it happens, then that's great. That's what you want to deliver as a service. Yeah. And they were understanding if it doesn't, but I want to hit that every single time if I can, So one of the things I found is and that's all down to the planning at the outset, not by myself, not just by myself, but the expertise in Glee as well,
Yeah, definitely. Like
the orthodontists and the technicians are fantastic.
Yeah. For mine as well, it was literally, like I say earlier, by the book. Like, I genuinely couldn't think how
it was sweet as a nut.
You could have, I know. Honestly, I was thinking, how do people have?
I couldn't do with all the cases going like yours.
Yeah, it was good. Would you say one of the biggest mistakes a patient could make then, if to prevent the treatment not going well, it was the wear time?
100%.
That is the most
the biggest one. It's the biggest one. If you are not wearing your aligners the way that you've been instructed to do, so 24/7, take them out for eating and drinking kind of thing. You've got to be committed to that. They will not work, and it's amazing how fast teeth will move.
Yeah,
patients
definitely.
don't get a concept of this. You literally could have your aligners out for 3 hours, and you'll put them back in and they'll feel tight.
Yeah,
and we've had that feedback from patients if they have been non-compliant at times.
Yeah, I can say that from personal experience. Yeah.
So that's why. And then again, another big thing that a patient needs to understand that about the commitment side of things is that they're committing for life.
Yeah.
You have to wear retainers for life.
Yeah.
Okay. To prevent.
I'm wearing mine, can I just say?
I'm sure you are, because you relapsed in the first place. So that's why I was trying to prevent it.
I'm wearing it now. I'm making sure.
But it is important that they understand that it is a commitment for life. You've got to wear your retainers every night. My daughters have had braces. I'm on their case all the time to make sure you're wearing your retainers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if my dad was a dentist, I'd be wearing them.
Yeah. So that's important as well.
Yeah, definitely. Would you say as a dentist, what gives you the confidence recommending Glee? I know you touched on before the support and everything. Is there anything clinically that you really think shines out?
I think we just touched on it a second ago, actually, in terms of the percentage cases that go into refinement or that don't work. I've not had a case that hasn't worked, and I've had a very, very low percentage of cases that have needed refining. And I think from a confidence perspective, from a clinical perspective, that really gives you a lot of confidence. We're not having to extend treatment times, which then eats into clinical time. So that eats into, my economies of scale. But more importantly, it eats into the patient's expectations. And that's something that doesn't sit right with me. I really want to try and deliver on what we say we're going to do, You always maintain that there's always a chance of it not going perfectly according to plan, of course, because life doesn't go that way. But to have the confidence in a provider that we know that we've done all the correct planning from the outset, so we really know that this is going to work well, I think that's a big, big thing for me. Big, big thing.
So when I first came to you, what were the main issues that you identified with my smile?
The main issues you identified with your smile, really, because you came to me for a reason. You said you weren't happy with your teeth and that they'd relapsed. So your teeth had moved back. They were crowded. Okay. So they weren't sat within the arch of our teeth. In a perfectly straight curvature all the way around. So that was the sort of main, and you also had a tooth that was rotated. So, and you weren't happy because A, they'd relapsed, and B, you didn't have confidence in your smile. So we talked that through. And when we then showed you what we could achieve using Glee Aligners, then you were like, yeah, I really want to do this.
That was
good. And that's another important part. I never ever rushed the first 2 consultations. There's plenty of time for us to go through things, discuss things, because it's really important that you understand as a patient what you're getting into. And it's really important for me to portray what I'm going to achieve as a clinician for you. And you've got to be given the time to ask questions. You need to be given the time to go away and think about it. You need to be given time to understand some of the technical jargon that I'm going to tell you about risks, for instance. And you need to be fully informed. So not rushing that first stage of planning is really important, I think, in any Aligner treatment.
I think that's why, like, if people are on the fence, a consultation is always the best option. Like, just having a chat with a dentist. Like, I always thought there was no pressure, there was no obligation. It was any questions that were answered. Just having that chat with a dentist, and they can really look at your teeth and say, I think this is going to be your situation. I think you're going to have aligners for X amount of time.
And I think also as well, as a dentist, it's also important for me to recognise, do you know what? I don't fancy doing that case. Because there's cases out there that are extremely difficult. And that's why you have orthodontists who are far cleverer than me, I may add. So that's where I'd want to refer, So that's why I stick to simple cases. I stick to cases that I'm really comfortable in doing as well. So sometimes a patient might come and see us, but I'm not the dentist for them. And I'll tell them that. And I'll then say, but I have got some recommendations if you want that, So hopefully that'll inspire confidence in the patient as well to go, okay, well, he's been upfront and honest there in terms of treatment. But he's also given me some recommendations. Another really helpful part of the Glee Aligner journey is sort of like a pre-qualification check almost, just a really simple form that a patient can fill out free of charge. You can upload some photos onto there. It really helps us as clinicians as well to have a quick look at things and give them an idea on that first consultation before we've even done a scan. I think that's a really nice process.
And then just having that little bridge first where they can like consult at home. It's the ease before like stepping into a dentist, because some people are just a bit scared of going to the dentist anyway, aren't they?
Apparently we're scary people.
I don't think you are, but I know some people.
I understand. It's anxiety, isn't it? I get it.
I want to talk about the rise of at-home aligners. I know there's a lot of providers now that are doing everything online and like sending the aligners at home. How do you think that's impacted dentistry?
I don't think it's right. I don't think you can have a full at-home treatment. Unfortunately, there's been an instance of a large company that's not survived that situation. It's left a lot of patients in limbo.
Yeah.
Who have paid for their journey as well up front.
Yeah.
So I don't think it should happen. I don't think a patient should be taking their own impressions at home, for instance. You know, it's a weird concept.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think that you have to have clinical checkpoints. I don't mind if I want to give, you know, with yourself, we'd give you 2 or 3 aligners to take away with you, but I always want to see you every sort of third aligner to make sure that it's on track, to make sure that we're going in the right direction, to make sure your attachments are still looking good, to make sure there's not something called binding, because teeth can just sort of get together and stick and it stops the treatment. So we just got to make sure that that's not happening. So there's lots of things that happen on those interim visits. Although they seem really quick and we just change an aligner over, there's lots of little things that are happening that are important to the treatment journey. So doing it fully alone at home, it just doesn't sit right with me. No,
because I think obviously it's your oral health and your hygiene. Like a lot of people are thinking it's a convenience thing having these at-home aligners. But like you say, doing impressions at home, you could literally like distort it by the tiniest thing and then 100%. Mess up your whole body.
Yeah. And again, those, you know, with the advent of digital scanners, why would I take an impression on something like this? Now we're talking about moving teeth per aligner of maximum of 0.3 millimeters. So I need something that's going to give me some absolute massive degrees of accuracy. I'm going to get that far more than just an impression via a digital scanner. So for me, it's not where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair enough. Like throughout the treatment, you need in them checkups. I know I can check on, and then you're back to back looking at the treatment.
Just think of it in simple terms. You have your teeth at the start. You're then given a clinical simulation of what each aligner is going to do. So let's say you need 10 aligners. We're going to have 10 checkpoints of a clinical simulation, a computer simulation that's going to go, aligner 1, we're going to be here. Aligner 2, we're going to be here. Aligner 3, we're going to be here. Yes, you can get that by just the fit of the aligner, but having it to be able to cross-reference and check back, for me to look at the computer screen, we should be at this point here.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're not. Right. Well, we need to rescan now because we need to do a bit of course correction here. Or, yes, we are. Great. Let's crack on.
Yeah, they don't have that person to step in and look and say, hey, actually.
And if you're then going to be given 20 aligners or something, that's a long period of time to just be sat there going, I'm going to change this one, I'm going to change that one. There you go, you know, and it'll work, but it will also, I think it'll work in some cases, but it won't work in others. And I think I think the failure rate is going to be massively higher with just that kind of system.
Yeah, it is crazy. You're just seeing it everywhere now, though. It's like, where do you think the future of the clear aligners is heading in technology? Do you have any thoughts? Do you think, it's fine if you don't?
I don't really know. I think where we're at now, I think it's really good. I mean, I wish I was technically minded enough to be able to think of these kind of systems and go, right, this is the next advent. Because to me, I think it's fantastic the way that it's all done now. To the fact that a patient can get the smile they've always wanted in a very discreet way.
Yeah,
I think it's just unbelievable in a you know, not so much a straightforward way, because I don't want to dumb down the technology and the expertise that goes into all this, but it's in a sort of seamless way. That'd probably be a good phrase to use, actually. It's very discreet and it's very seamless. I'm sure the industry, though, is going to come up with some more improvements, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, because it helps me. Anything that helps me as a clinician to be able to deliver what my patient wants, I'm all for.
Yeah. How has integrating clear aligners impacted chair time and scheduling?
I wouldn't say it's massively impacted chair time. Well, it's positive, really, I would say. Previously in the past, you know, before I got into clear aligners, we'd always just refer to an orthodontist.
Yeah.
And I like that, because you're getting the experts dealing with it, you know. But not every case needs that. So price point for the patient then is always considerably high. So from a patient perspective, I think it's so good. I think from a patient perspective, in terms of convenience as well, and not, you know, like I said, discreet. a discreet treatment, I think that's really good as well, especially, you know,
adults and stuff.
Well, all of my patients are adults, so, you know, under 18s, we would refer automatically.
Yeah.
In terms of chair time and stuff, once we've got the initial big appointments out the way, then you'll remember when you'd come in, it'd be a case of coming in.
Yeah.
How we doing? Great.
Yeah.
And it'd be I always schedule a minimum 15-minute appointments, sometimes 30. Because I like to have a chat with them really and then see how they're getting on and stuff with their life, you know. So it's all positive. It really is all positive.
I think as well with the whole the Smile Steps e-consultation form, that is, I can imagine, changed a lot. It really saves a lot of time, people being able to see something and get a quote for what they could potentially have.
Yeah,
before even entering.
It could even save a step of coming to see me. I could give them a phone call and go, you know what, this case looks really complex. I'm not the person for you.
Yeah.
Don't waste your money having a consultation with me. Let's give it, and I'll just give them a couple of ideas of who they can phone and that kind of stuff. But then on the other side to it, I like to plan. My brain works by planning. So me having a look at a case in advance before a patient's even walked through the door, I'm like, great. So when they're walking through the door, I know that person or I know their teeth.
Yeah.
Already, I know what I'm going to expect and I've already got an idea of what this is going to be and I can really start to help them with their expectations. Because again, patients, rightly or wrongly, have some unrealistic expectations. They're almost like clear aligners are the be all and end all, and they're going to have a 6-month smile because that's one of the things that's marketed.
Yeah.
Well, not everything's going to work in 6 months.
No.
You know, some are going to take longer than 6 months and some may take shorter. And having those conversations, but being able to have that sort of pre-assessment information really helps.
Yeah, I can imagine that saves a lot of your time and their time. So it's really beneficial.
And if it's saving our time, it's that saving cost for the patient.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a win-win.
Definitely. How did you evaluate different aligner systems before choosing Glee?
I used my initial provider mainly out of friendship, really, if I'm honest. I knew the person who owned it and we had a great relationship. We still have. And it was a great process. You know, there was nothing on that. And then when I purchased my scanner and then when I looked, I had a couple of cases that just didn't go quite as swimmingly as I felt as though they should have. And so I just felt as though, you know what, maybe I want to just look at a different aligner provider. So I went to the dentistry show, where a lot of aligner companies are based, wanting to win business from dentists. So I spoke to a lot of different providers because there's a lot of these providers on the market now. I think the big thing that stood out for me with Glee was how personable the people were that I spoke to. Mm-hmm. So that was really helpful. I just felt like I could have a really good working relationship. And then also just the level of expertise of their orthodontists, the orthotechs, etc. when I was chatting to them on the stand. And then when I started using them, because I used them as a test case, because, you know, things aren't always going to go swimmingly. You've got to, So I used them as a couple of test cases and they just went really well, really swimmingly. And I was really pleased. And then just gone from strength to strength from there. So I'm pleased.
Would you say the turnaround time, especially stuff like that, was...
The turnaround time's fantastic. And what is just absolutely unbelievable is how fast I can get my retainers. I just cannot believe how I actually think that the lab has got some sort of sorcery in it or something like that.
Superpower.
It is. It's impossible to know that you can get these. But then to say to a patient, oh, by the way, you're at the end of your treatment. It's really important now that we're going to retention. And also we'll have your retainers within here, and I can have you booked in within 24 to 48 hours.
I think as well, because obviously at the end of some aligner treatments with your whitening trays, like obviously you're offering at the minute free whitening. Yeah. And then you can scan their teeth and then the next day you can have their whitening trays in, can't you?
Incredible. Whitening, retainers, it's all there within 24 hours of me taking off attachments.
Yeah.
So I've taken off these fillings that are on the teeth and they're going back into their existing last aligner, which now doesn't fit perfectly because the attachments have been removed. And within 24 hours, I've got a set of retainers and I've got whitening and we're delivering on the package that we said we were running. I just think it's, I still don't know how it's done.
I think magic.
It is. It's sorcery.
I think as well with the whitening, like you're so eager, like you want to start it straight away. I know I did.
I think, again, this is a part of my job that I really love. I love watching the transformation in the smile and a patient being so happy and so grateful.
Yeah.
And then like, they're like, oh, can I get on with the whitening now? Yeah. And so, because it's here and we can do it at the same time. And, there you go. And by the way, we've got this, we always carry the syringes in stock. So they're leaving with the retainers, the whitening, everything, How have you found your whitening? Has it been sensitive at all?
I think the past 2 weeks, so I'm 6 weeks in, the last 2 weeks, I think I have found it quite sensitive. There was one particular tooth, I can't put the gel on that mold. It was at like the back at the top. But I always knew I had sensitive teeth anyway.
Sure.
So, and it's at the back. You're not going to see it.
No.
I think that's the main thing. I just can't put it on that particular tooth.
Right.
Other than
like
that.
you say, just miss it out then or,
Yeah, I just miss it out. Other than that, it's not been as bad as I thought it would. People say it really hurts.
Another good tip though for whitening is that you can just rinse out your whitening trays and then just load it full of Sensodyne or a toothpaste aimed at sensitivity and pop it in. Or we can get toothpaste aimed at sensitivity made by the whitening companies. But that's a nice little tip that can just help patients out there.
I actually might do that. I forgot about that.
There we go.
I'm going to do that. Sensodyne. Yeah, good little tip.
Should we just have a little chat from your perspective as a patient in terms of maybe how you found the retainer side of things and sort of, is it a chore?
At the end
of the end of the process.
Yeah. I think knowing that I had to wear retainers, I was more than happy to do it, given that I had braces and I didn't wear my retainer back then. So this time I'm like, right, I'm committing. I am wearing this every night. I've not had any issues. They're fine. It's almost like, because you only wear it at nighttime, so it's only when you're sleeping.
Yeah. But is that annoying?
I don't think it's annoying. I think it's fine. I think once you've gone through the aligner treatment, you're used to having this in your mouth, this mold that you look after and you keep up and you wear sometimes. And I think a retainer really just is a fraction of anything. It's not an inconvenience. It's at bedtime. You don't really know.
I think sometimes people we all want a quick fix solution now. That's the way the world's gone. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes what puts patients off is the fact that we say, look, this is a commitment for life, really. You know what I mean? You've got to wear your retainers because you will get relapse. It will happen. Yeah. And so I think a patient doesn't really need to appreciate it. So it's good to know from your perspective as a patient that actually it's not too much of an inconvenience.
No, not at all. I think as well, going through the aligners, you really learn having to wear the aligners and you realise how it's not bad. They're fine. You hardly feel them.
It's amazing how we adapt, isn't it?
Yeah, you just get used to it. It's
Human
fine.
beings.
Yeah. Really enjoyed it. And obviously I've learnt my lesson from the first time, so I will be wearing them. I'm not making that move. Thank you to everyone for listening and watching another episode of our podcast, First Impressions. That was Dr. Ritesh Aggarwal on our podcast today. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and comment down below who you'd like to see next. Thank you and goodbye.